Chapter 1. Mr. Su, your husband committed suicide. I woke up to a blinding white. Before I could react, a sharp pain shot through my wrist. As I regained my senses, I heard an anxious female voice. I saw a woman with her back to me on the phone. Mr. Su Chunin is at the hospital now. Do you want to come over? A cold, indifferent female voice came from the other end. Is he dead? If not, don't bother me. The call ended. The woman turned around and then froze. After a moment, she walked towards me. You're awake. Who are you? I looked at her blankly. Are you talking to me? You don't recognize me. The woman's expression changed. I'm Z, Mr. Su's assistant. Who is Mr. Su? I frowned at her, impatience evident in her expression. Chinin, Mr. Su is very busy with work. Even if you're attempting suicide, it won't work, let alone faking amnesia. Give up, Mr. Su won't come to see you. I was even more confused, unsure what she was talking about. Seeing my silence, Joy took a step closer and said earnestly, Chinin, you've been married to Mr. Su for 5 years, and you've been causing trouble for 5 years. Mr. Su hasn't fallen in love with you. Shouldn't you reflect on yourself and stop causing trouble for Mr. Su? Although I still didn't know what was happening, her attitude made me uncomfortable. Looking at her face, I felt a strange aversion. Wait, did you say 5 years? I rushed into the bathroom attached to the hospital room and looked at myself in the mirror. It was indeed me, the same face, but more mature, with a lingering melancholy. Could what Joy said be true? Was it 5 years later? Was I really married? It turned out I really was married and had been for 5 years. I hadn't time traveled, nor was I dreaming. My memory stopped at 18 when I just entered university. I had a crush on a senior Sushu. She was an impeccable ice queen, wealthy and capable. She skipped grades, so although she was my senior, she was a few years younger than me, and now I was married to her. According to Z, I married Sushu at 22, a shotgun wedding without much of a foundation. I hadn't even graduated from university yet. I just got the marriage certificate, no wedding ceremony. After we got married, Sushu became very close to her male best friend, Ichin Yang. He was supposedly her unrequited love, and me, the unloved husband, started to self-destruct in our marriage. I tried all sorts of bizarre methods to attract Su's attention, only earning her increasing disgust. Her friends all saw me as a joke, just waiting for the day we would divorce. Ichin never took me seriously either. He was the young master of their circle, and my every hysterical act in their eyes was like a clown show. Finally, I threatened suicide to stop Sushu from having any further contact with Ichin Yang, but she didn't agree. She even told me to go die. Then I committed suicide. That was what happened before I woke up. I found it surreal, suicide for love. That didn't sound like something I would do at all. I hated simps the most. I would never be any woman's simp. By the time I figured all this out, I was already in the master bedroom of our marital home. Chapter 2. The doctor said I was fine, so Joy took me straight back. Before leaving, she warned and advised me not to cause any more trouble. Looking at the massive villa in front of me, I lost all desire to cause trouble. I was completely stunned by this overwhelming wealth. Even a small walk-in closet was bigger than my old apartment. Just as I was gazing, dazzled at the bedroom that I shared with Su, I heard a sound at the door. I spun around and met the eyes gaze of Sushu, although I knew I'd been married to Sushu for 5 years. This was the first time I'd seen her face this close. I had to admit there was a reason she was my teenage goddess. Just seeing her face in front of me made me feel a lot better. Even with her cold expression, I didn't dislike her too much. Clearly, Joy was right. I must be a total simp for pretty faces. Seeming to notice my silence, she frowned slightly. Chinzin, what are you up to now? As she spoke, she gracefully walked towards the walk-in closet, not even pausing as she passed me and selected a bathrobe. I turned to look at her. I hadn't said a word since she suddenly returned, and she was accusing me of scheming. Sushu glanced at me with her dark eyes. Every other time, you'd pounce on me the moment I got back. Change your tactics now. I was a little surprised. Had I been so desperate for her attention after marrying Sushu? But I didn't show it on my face, only saying calmly, oh, I won't anymore. I thought Sushu would breathe a sigh of relief. Instead, her brow furrowed even more, and she looked at me with increased impatience. I'm very tired from work lately. I don't have time to indulge your drama. Don't try to do anything to Chinny Yang. He's done nothing. Even if you threaten me with suicide, it won't work. I was stunned for a moment, feeling complicated. Joy had told me pretty much everything about my relationship with Sushu. It boiled down to me loving Sushu, Sushu loving Ichin Yang, and me, the clown in this love triangle, constantly causing trouble for Ichin Yang, only to incur more and more of Su's disgust. This suicide attempt was also because I was jealous of Su's meticulous care for Ichin Yang, so I secretly launched a relentless attack on Ichin Yang's company, smearing their artists. But Su unhesitatingly chose to support him, undoubtedly telling everyone in the industry that I, Su's CEO husband, was only one in name. and not even a finger of Ich and Yang could be compared with me in stature, so I lost my mind trying to win. Baksu was suicide. The outcome was predictable. A woman who was already annoyed with me wouldn't change her mind because of my suicide. She would only find it troublesome. Seeing that I didn't speak, Sushu also lost patience and went straight to the washroom. I breathed a sigh of relief and flopped onto the bed, my mind a mess. After all, having lost the last few years of my memories, I didn't know why I had gone so crazy. The 18-year-old me had the utmost contempt for people blinded by love. Yet now I was ready to die for a woman. I really couldn't imagine I would ever be like this. My thoughts were jumbled. Before I could figure out what I should do, the covers beside me were pulled back and a soft body laid down next to me. The rush of fragrance made me jolt. I turned my head and saw Sue looking at me with those dark eyes. The usual ice-cold indifference now tinged with a hint of suppressed intensity. I stammered, "What are you doing?" Chapter 3. Although I had lost my memory, based on the information I know, my relationship with Sue should be very bad, right? Maybe we even sleep in separate beds. How could she lie next to me so naturally? Sue seemed not to notice my discomfort, and, with a soft arm wrapping around me, encircled my waist. Without a word, she pounced on me, her incredibly delicate fingers skillfully teasing me, a feeling I'd never experienced before. Sue. I couldn't help but call out her name. "Don't touch me, damn it." It seemed that the resistance in my eyes didn't look like acting, and a moment of stunned surprise flashed in Sue's eyes as well, but it was quickly replaced by impatience. "Chin, don't throw a tantrum with me." I didn't like her always talking to me in that tone, and even her face, which I had secretly admired for many years, started to lose points in my eyes. "I am your husband, right? I attempted suicide and was hospitalized, and you came back without a word of concern. Now you are aggressively accusing me. Sue, why are you treating me like this?" My anger seemed to ignite her fuse as well. She forcefully grabbed my wrist. "I see, because you brought this all on yourself." Her strength was small, just enough to grip the wound on my wrist from the suicide attempt. I felt a little pain, but I forced myself not to make a sound. Sue suddenly withdrew her hand as if losing interest, turned her back to me, and said in an icy tone, "This time, I'll let it go. But don't you ever pretend to commit suicide to threaten me again." Lying next to her, my mood was a mix of emotions. The next day, when I woke up, Sue was no longer beside me. I casually threw on some clothes and went downstairs, where I saw that she was already having breakfast at the dining table. The butler was beside her, greeting me. "Miss Chen, good morning." I stood there without moving. Sue didn't even lift her head. "Come down for breakfast." Although it was just breakfast, the extravagance of it was astonishing. I sat down opposite Sue and saw the butler serving me a plate of SEO pudding. I was speechless. What man eats this stuff for breakfast? Smelling the mango, I frowned and asked, "Why is there mango?" The butler said this was specially sent over by young Master E. It's also young Master E's favorite, air freighted from Europe. I immediately lost my appetite. "I'm not eating." The silver cutlery clinked against the china, making a crisp sound. Sue raised her eyes to look at me. Her voice was cold and clear. "Chen, enough is enough." I was full of resentment. "Does me not eating mango bother you? Isn't it just because this was sent by Chin Yang that you're not eating it?" Sue's face was icy. "Chin, when can you restrain your jealousy?" "Ma'am, jealous of E." I don't know what 27-year-old Chin was like in front of Sue. He was probably a humble and petty image. But no matter what, we are husband and wife. Doesn't she even know I'm allergic to mangoes? Just as I was about to speak, the butler suddenly said, "Sir, young Master E has arrived." A gentle voice sounded. "Am I disturbing you?" At the door, a tall figure walked in. Whether it was the butler or the housekeeper, they were all very familiar with him. It was clear at a glance that he came often. I only glanced at him once, and I knew this person was Ichin Yang. I noticed the butler's address. I am Sue's husband, yet he only calls me Mr. Chen, but calls him young master. The closeness or distance in their relationship is obvious. Wonder, 27-year-old me would be so hostile towards Ichin Yang. I am her proper husband, yet I can never compare to her blatant favoritism towards another man under the guise of childhood sweethearts. Anyone would feel unbalanced. Chapter 4. Ichin Yang looked at me with great concern. "Mr. Chen, I heard you cut your wrist. Are you all right now?" I snorted from my nose, not giving him a pleasant look. I don't know what I looked like at 27, in their eyes may be pathetic. Maybe because I loved Sue too much, so I let them order me around. But the current me is the 18-year-old me. I don't love Sue at all, so there's no need to swallow my anger. Ichin Yang said to Sue, with some embarrassment, "I'm sorry, Mr. Chen doesn't seem to want to see me. Maybe I shouldn't have come. You knew that and still came." I was direct. "Did you come to laugh at me?" Ichin Yang's face flushed instantly, and Sue coldly rebuked me. "Chin, stop being unreasonable." She defended Ichin Yang, and I felt uncomfortable. my impression of her dropping sharply again. Originally, waking up and being married to the goddess I had a crush on made me a little excited and grateful, but now it seems that Sue is just so-so. So what if she's beautiful and rich? Treating her husband like trash? Does she think she's amazing? If you had the ability, don't marry him in the first place. I was indignant while Ichin Yang was gentlemanly and calm. I came this time specifically to invite you to my celebration party. After speaking, he seemed to realize that with me, living person standing here, it wouldn't be right if he didn't invite me as well. So he could only say to me, Mr. Chen, why don't you come too? Originally, I didn't want to go, but seeing the hidden disdain and provocation in Ichin Yang's eyes, I suddenly hooked my lips and agreed. Okay, after all, I'm A's husband, so I should accompany AWs to social events. I followed Sue to eat and Ichin Yang's celebration party just like that when the three of us appeared. The people in the private room all looked over, their expressions colorful. What did we bring that one here for? It's not surprising. Her family's always making trouble, being dramatic, and is full of hostility towards all the opposite sex around, let alone Chen. I heard he even attempted suicide because of Chen Yang. That's right, but he doesn't even consider his own worth. Marrying Ah was already a high climb. What right does he have to control her? The previous guys were one thing, but who is Chu Eng? Does he deserve to be compared to him? These voices were neither too loud nor too soft, just enough for me to hear. I glanced over and guessed that they were probably friends of Sushi or Ichin. Anyway, they're all in the same circle. No mistake. I sneered in my heart. No wonder the 25-year-old me wanted to commit suicide, listening to these belittling words every day. How can my psychology not be distorted? Besides, I must have loved Sushi very much back then, so I would be in so much pain from day-to-day torment that I would want to give up my life. Sue and Ichin Chen Yang had already sat down in the seats they had reserved, only I was standing alone. Isn't he embarrassed standing there alone? How could he be embarrassed? As long as he can be with Ah, he can make him kneel. I looked coldly at the man who was gossiping. She's not dead yet. Why would I kneel to her? The man's face changed as if he hadn't expected me to retort today. Sewell looked impatient. All right, stop making trouble. I was being ridiculed like this, but not only did she not help me, she just gave each side 50 lashes. I chuckled. It seems like I'm not welcome here. I won't disturb you. After speaking, I turned around and left. Directly behind me came the sound of people inhaling. Did I see that right? He actually gave a setch. Look. Could it be that he's really been driven crazy by Chen Yang? I bet he won't last half an hour. He'll come crawling back with his tail between his legs. Chapter 5. The noisy sounds behind me were annoying, so I went to the outdoor swimming pool to relax. Not long after, Ichin Chen Yang suddenly walked out. Mr. Chen, you've really surprised me. I glanced behind him, seeing that he was alone, and said playfully, I hate you so much. Aren't you afraid I'll push you in here? Ichin Yang laughed. I'm afraid you wouldn't dare. After all, everyone knows Ah would save me. I pursed my lips, not bothering to respond. Ichin Yang walked to my side again. Chinan, do you dare to bet? I found it strange. If you two really love each other so much, why don't you let Sue divorce me? Ichin Yang, do you have to trample on someone else's sincerity to perform your drama? Is that what you call deep love? Ichin Yang's expression changed. Isn't that because you were so persistent? You even went as far as attempting suicide to cling to Shu. She's just pitying you. Soon, he regained his calm and gentle demeanor and asked me again, Chen, Cheyenne, do you dare to bet? The swimming pool shimmered, looking clear, but it was actually very deep. I decisively shook my head. I don't dare. I can't swim. Suicide. Such a stupid thing. Doing it once is enough. No need for a second time. I just stood up and caught Ichin Yang's regretful gaze. He stood behind me and pushed me directly. Splash. Various screams came from my ears. My body touched the water's surface and then quickly sank. At that moment, I couldn't feel anything. Only the fear of my senses being submerged by the surrounding pool water. My throat started to choke on water, and my lungs gradually became heavy. I struggled desperately to swim upwards, but only saw a familiar figure quickly swimming in the other direction. My wife, Sue. When Ichin Chen Yang and I fell into the water at the same time, I swam towards him. A sharp pain came from my heart. This might be the last bit of emotion left in my 27-year-old self. Hand originally wanting to slap her, but I don't hit women. My hand raised in the air, and finally just grabbed her neck and threw her to the ground. The surroundings were silent. I could even hear everyone's deliberately slowed breathing. Sue, a rich and beautiful woman, a princess, should have never been touched, not even pushed aside. Sue, let's get divorced. After a long time, I heard my own voice in the silence. I don't want anything. Just consider that push just now as the breakup fee for me. Your ex. I had anticipated what kind of reaction Sue would evoke: shock, disappointment, disgust, but no matter what her reaction was, it was insignificant to me. Everything around was terrifyingly quiet, even more silent than before. Chapter 6. I could even hear the sound of the water dripping from my body onto the floor, drop by drop, and the unconsciously slowed breathing of the people around me. They seemed shocked that I, who had always followed Sue's lead, had actually pushed her. Not only that, but I had also asked for a divorce. Sue remained silent for a long time, a clear red mark still visible on her beautiful face. She suddenly walked towards me. I felt disgusted and took a step back. In that instant, Sue's face became even uglier than when I pushed her. I already said that push just now was your severance. I glared at her. Sushi, don't tell me you don't even have that much grace. Sushi didn't say anything. Her thin lips pressed tightly together. She grabbed my wrist, trying to drag me away. In the chaos, a slender hand grasped mine. The person glanced at me, then looked at Sushi. Instead of pulling my hand away, she smiled charmingly. Oh, he almost drowned just now. Can't you just let it go? It was the woman who had jumped in to save me. She was also soaked through, possessing a unique aura. Although slightly disheveled, she was wild and incredibly charming. I was momentarily lost in thought. Sushi seemed to notice this. Her face instantly darkened alarmingly. She tightened her grip on my hand. Kuja, he's my husband. In what capacity are you advising me? Kuja maintained her unruly expression. How come I heard her say just now that he wants a divorce from you? The atmosphere suddenly became excessively cold. Seeing the murderous look in Sushi's eyes, Kuya smiled again and said, "Anyway, I did just save your husband's life. Shouldn't you thank me?" Sushi expressed, then softened slightly. "The West Suburbs project, I'll hand it over to you completely." After saying that, she dragged me away. Behind us, there were gasps of surprise. The West Suburbs project is a huge prize. Oh, she just gave it to Kucha. That's a multi-billion-dollar project. Even the E family only got a small share, and she just handed it all over to Kuja just because she saved O's husband. No way. Doesn't O really dislike that country bumpkin? I was taken by Sushi to a hotel room. She's very particular and doesn't stay in rooms that others have used. So even in a hotel, a suite on the top floor is reserved specifically for her. She pulled me by the wrist, remaining silent the entire time, and made me get into the bathtub. Warm water enveloped my entire body. I couldn't help but say, "Sushi, can you go out?" She was still the same as before, cold and sullen. Ever since I pushed her no after a long while she said, "Hey." When I had soaked in the bathtub for a while, she suddenly walked in. I didn't know what she was going to do and was startled. The next second, I felt a weight on me as she hugged me tightly. Sushi's arms wrapped around me like a winding daughter, making it hard for me to breathe. Her delicate chin rested on my head. I struggled a little, and she held me even tighter. The moment my patience was completely exhausted, I heard her extremely restrained, clear voice. "Chinin, I'm so glad you're okay." But my voice was only, "I see." "Sushi, stop pretending. It was Kuya who saved me." Why did she have to say such things? I wouldn't forget the way she ran towards Chinin when we both fell into the water. Even though I had lost my memories of the past 5 years and no longer loved her, my heart still felt a primal pang of pain at that moment. A dull ache, like drowning, made me feel terrible. Chapter 7. I think that must have been the last struggle of my 27-year-old self. I'm glad I lost my memory. Otherwise, with how deeply I loved Sushi at 27, my heart might have died of pain. Sushi was speechless. She opened her mouth, seemingly wanting to say something, but nothing came out. "I can't swim, and she saved the Chinyong. That's a fact. If it weren't for Kuya, I wouldn't be lying here safe and sound now. This matter was my fault, Chinin. Such a situation will not happen again in the future." Whatever I said, indifferently. After the divorce, you can save whoever you want. It's none of my business. Sushi tightened her grip on me. "I know you're angry, but this matter isn't what you think it is." She paused and then said, "About the divorce you mentioned, I don't agree. What makes you think you can disagree? When Chin Yang and I fell into the water at the same time, she didn't hesitate to choose to save Yang. This already placed my life behind someone else's. I don't know what need there is to continue this marriage. Moreover, she chose him in front of so many people at the time. Don't I need dignity? Don't I need face? Sushi, I'm telling you, I absolutely must get this divorce." She seemed a little annoyed, but knowing that I had every reason to be angry, she restrained herself and didn't argue with me. After I got out of the bathtub and lay in bed, she clung to me again. "Get some sleep first. We'll talk about it tomorrow." "Don't touch me," I said through gritted teeth. "Sushi, don't force me to hit you." Sushi chuckled. "With your abilities, you dare to hit me?" I gritted my teeth and aimed at her most vulnerable spot. Sushi's face changed instantly, a flush of red appearing but quickly fading. She suddenly softened and kissed the corner of my mouth. "Okay, stop it. This matter was my fault. I'll find a way to make it up to you." My head was throbbing, my temples pounding violently. I don't know how pathetic my 27-year-old self was that even after something like this happened. Sushi still thought she could coax me. What does she take me for? I clenched my fist and pushed her away without hesitation. Sushi's face turned ugly. Suddenly, she covered me entirely, looking down at me condescendingly. If you can't sleep, then let's do something. Just as she was about to kiss the corner of my mouth, my face instantly paled, and my forehead was covered in beads of sweat. It hurts. I couldn't help but cry out, my whole body trembling. Sushi seemed to suddenly wake up. Did I hurt you? Somewhere. The panic in her eyes at that moment made me think she really cared about me, but I quickly brushed away that illusion. I was overthinking it. How could a woman who doesn't even care about my life care about the wound on my wrist? I bit my lip hard, not saying a word. Sushi was a little anxious. Where exactly does it hurt? Tell me. Before I could speak, a faint smell of blood filled the air. Sushi suddenly stared blankly at her tightly grasped wrist, where a bandage was still wrapped around it. Sushi had always thought that I was just using a self-inflicted wound to gain sympathy, so she never thought that the cut was actually real. Her face was grim as she slowly unwrapped my bandage, which was already soaked with blood. Chapter 8. Only when she saw the gaping wound on my flesh did her pupils suddenly constrict. I looked at her coldly, enduring the sharp pain as I pulled my hand back. See it satisfied. You're serious. A storm swept through her eyes, wave after wave. Who allowed you to kill yourself? I stared fixedly into her eyes. Do you still care if I kill myself? You just watched me almost drown. My words pierced her like needles. I saw her dark eyes narrow slightly, as if she were trying to evade something. Soon, she said in a hoarse voice, I'll have the doctor come and see you. Along with the doctor, Ichin Yang also came. He had changed his clothes, his black hair slicked back meticulously, looking like a suave and amorous young master. He stood nervously at the door. Is he all right? Sue nodded, looking at him gravely. You go back and rest first. You don't need to worry about things here. I feel bad, Ichin Yang sighed, appearing gentle and gentlemanly. After all, it was because of me that Miss Chin almost drowned. Before he could finish speaking, I interrupted him coldly. You're quite the actor. As soon as my words fell, Ichin Yang's face changed. It's a pity there are no security cameras by the pool. Otherwise, if Sue heard what you said to me, then I wonder what she would think of you. In the end, Ichin Yang left in a hurry. Presumably, he had gained many benefits from Sue before through his divisive words. But the current me doesn't take his bait at all. Whatever he says, I go straight for the point, and he can't handle it at all. He probably doesn't understand why my personality suddenly changed so drastically. Staying any longer would expose him, so he left just like that. I was glad to be rid of them both and didn't want to see either of them at all. Suwen looked at me gravely. You rest here properly. I'll come see you tomorrow. I nodded and said, it's best to bring the divorce agreement. If you don't write it, I'll find a lawyer to write it. Her assets should be frighteningly large, and if she drafts it, there won't be any other troubles. It will save her from thinking that I'm coveting her property. Sue's eyes darkened slightly, and in the end, she only said one sentence, I won't divorce you. After speaking, she closed the door and left. It seems she also knows that staying here would only be an eyesore to me. Not long after, Sue contacted me using her phone, telling me to wait for her here tomorrow. I looked at my own phone. Initially, I used my birthday as the password, but it failed to unlock. After thinking for a moment, I used Sue's birthday, and it unlocked immediately. I chuckled, mocking my future simp self, and immediately changed the password to my own birthday. The next day, I didn't wait for her at all, and I directly contacted Chut. I'm Chinin. I introduced myself as soon as I spoke. Do you have time for a drink with me? What is it? Kusha's voice sounded a little hoarse, but with a hint of a smile that wasn't quite a smile. I want to thank you. After all, you saved my life yesterday. I am just this kind of person with clear distinctions between love and hate. I really don't know what situation the 27-year-old me was in to be so humble for love. Okay, the location was set at a nearby coffee shop. When I arrived, Kosha Shai was already there. You're quite punctual. I sat down and said, Speak, how should I thank you? Anything is fine. Chapter 9. Chusha looked at me and suddenly frowned. Why do I feel like you are different from before? Is that so? I touched my hair, not really wanting others to know about my amnesia. Moreover, I don't know what my relationship with this Kuja is. Judging from yesterday's situation, we shouldn't be familiar with each other. I'm Chinin. I curled the corner of my mouth. Where is it different? Maybe it's because I was frightened yesterday. Chinon, what exactly is wrong with you? Chusha frowned, suddenly serious. We've known each other for so many years. You can tell me anything. I was stunned for a moment. We've known each other for many years. Why don't I have any impression at all? Kachu Shia tapped on the table. Don't tell me you've forgotten about me. I asked back with a smile that was not a smile. She sized me up, giving me the illusion that she could see through me. Chinin, you are very strange. Ever since you woke up after your suicide attempt last time, you've become very different from usual. Is it because of Sue? I laughed sarcastically. Even you can see that I'm different, but she can't. This marriage really has no need to continue. Kusha seemed to have heard something unbelievable. You really plan to divorce her? Very surprised, I took a sip of the coffee in front of me. Just based on yesterday's matter, don't you think it deserves a divorce? She shook her head. The way you were obsessed with her before, I never thought the divorce you mentioned was real. The corners of her mouth curled up in a smile, looking at me teasingly. When you married Sue, it could be said that you were crazy in love. No matter where she went, you had to stick to her. You couldn't stand any opposite sex around her, let alone yin and yang. Was I that crazy? More than that, your possessiveness was very strong, and you were also very humble, afraid that she would abandon you. But speaking of which, although she looked like she disliked you very much, she never thought about separating from you. After you married her, you didn't want to see any of your former friends, especially female friends. We are university classmates, after all, and we have experienced so much together. Even though my confession to you failed, there is still friendship. You actually said you wouldn't contact me and then just didn't. It was only after graduation that I entered Sue's circle that I could occasionally meet you, but you pretended not to know me. She said a lot, and I instantly sorted out our relationship. So that's how it is. She's a classmate I met after I was 18 years old. No wonder 18-year-old me has no impression. So I met Kusha after I was 18. She confessed, but I rejected her. Then I met Sue, and we had a flash marriage. After marrying her, I behaved like a useless person, ridiculed by everyone, completely without dignity. I loved her so humbly and even severed contact with all my previous friends. Jiao had no choice but to enter Sue's circle of friends to be able to talk to me. In that case, you should know me very well. My eyes lit up. Originally, I had amnesia and didn't understand the current situation very well. I didn't even know what my current job was with her. Here, it should be much easier for me. I don't want Sue to know about my amnesia. Otherwise, things will become very troublesome. Time passed quickly, although I didn't say it explicitly. Jiao seemed to know that I was in trouble. Chapter 10. She didn't pry but just told me about my situation over the past 2 years. I understood most of it and couldn't help but feel a little emotional. I, at 27, could actually love someone to this extent. Something the 18-year-old me could never have imagined. Adding 9 years to my age for no reason and turning myself into the bootlicking dog I used to despise the most was something I couldn't accept at all. Just as I was chatting and laughing with Zhao, a familiar voice suddenly came from the side. Isn't that Chin Chin? How could he be with Zhao? Then he suddenly realized it must be because Zhao saved him yesterday, so he's expressing his gratitude, right? I believe Chin Chin isn't the kind of person who casually meets with women in private. I turned my head and saw Sue standing in front of us at some point, with Ich Chuyang beside her. Sue looked at me coldly. I remember I told you before I don't like you being with her. I frowned. We're about to get divorced. It's none of your business. I never would have imagined that I would completely cut off contact with my friend just because Sue didn't like it. Maintaining basic social distance is reasonable, but why should I not have any female friends? Sue looked at Zhao expressionlessly and asked, Yesterday you saved my husband, and I already expressed my gratitude with the Western Suburb Project. You don't need to meet in private. Jiao smiled faintly, her expression a bit provocative. Yesterday you thanked me as his wife, but today I am accepting his gratitude as his friend. Please don't confuse the two. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. I really didn't want to see those two being an eyesore here, so I picked up my bag and was about to leave. Jiao, let's go somewhere else. Sue suddenly grabbed my arm, looking at me coldly. Where are you going? What's it to you? I glanced at Ich Choyang. Behind her go, keep your man company. Hurry up and send the divorce agreement over. Otherwise, he will always be a third party who can't see the light of day. Sue opened her mouth as if she wanted to say something, but I didn't want to listen at all. I shook off her hand and left with Zhao. I didn't get home until the evening. I'm still not familiar with this strange world. I need to find a place to live these next few days. Otherwise, I won't know where to go after the divorce. Sue was me come back and walked over coldly. You still know to come back. Her accusatory tone made me very uncomfortable. Can you stop staring at me? I just went out for a walk with a friend. It's none of your business. As soon as I said those words, a sharp pain suddenly shot through my temples. Some blurry fragments flashed through my mind, and I took a step back, grabbing the sofa arm tightly. It seemed like those words had appeared in front of me some time before. I suddenly looked up at her, my eyes filled with bloodshot. I remembered a clear image that appeared in my mind. Suet had also said the exact same words to me when she went out for social engagements and came back late. I would ask her, and she would brush me off with that impatient tone. And now I was returning those words to her. Sue seemed to have realized something too, her Adam's apple bobbing up and down. After a long time, she explained to me, my meeting with Ich Chuyang wasn't what you think. Our families are old friends, and some things are unavoidable, but I'm already reducing my contact with him. You don't have to do that. Chapter 11. I interrupted her. If you feel guilty because you didn't save me when I fell into the water, and don't want to divorce me, wanting to make up for it, there's absolutely no need. I shook my head and said, you might as well give me a little more compensation when we get divorced. After that day, Sue and I parted ways unhappily again. I really couldn't figure out why she didn't want to divorce me. She clearly loves Chungyang and is repulsed by me. Wouldn't a divorce be exactly what she wants? I was a little confused about this woman's thoughts, but I didn't want to dwell on it anymore. The next day, I found a way to move out. Sue discovered this when she got home and immediately called me. Chin, what do you mean? What do you mean? We're getting divorced anyway. We can't still live together, right? I said. Finalize the agreement. As soon as possible, before I could finish, she hung up the phone. I threw my phone on the table, too lazy to deal with it. I had just finished packing up my things when someone knocked on the door. I thought it was the delivery, but when I opened the door, I saw Sue standing there, suppressing her anger. My expression immediately changed. What are you doing here? No, how did you know I was here? Sue glanced at the decorations in the rented apartment. You'd rather live in a pigsty like this than be angry with me and separate. I took a deep breath. Sue, I'm not being angry. I really want to divorce you. Things have developed to this point, and I don't understand anymore. Why don't you want to divorce me? Isn't this what you wanted? When did I ever want to divorce you? Sue's eyes looked at me as if she was looking at an unreasonable person. Are you still angry about Chungyang? Her eyes darkened. I thought you understood. I didn't deliberately. I just stood there coldly, unwilling to answer. She suddenly sighed, grabbed my shoulders, and made me sit on the sofa. Chin, stop being stubborn. Come home with me. This kind of thing won't happen again in the future. So many times in the past, it has already happened, and she is only thinking about it now. Isn't it a little late? I pushed her hand away. No need. You just need to prepare the divorce agreement. Sue suddenly cued my face. Chin, do you have to be stubborn with me to this extent? I told her, I'm not being stubborn. Are you really going to sleep in a place like this alone, or what? Sue suddenly bit my earlobe. Husband, come home with me. You can't sleep alone in a place like this. I found it very funny. Maybe to a princess like you, this place is very simple, but it's already very good for me, and it's also very close to my work. Sue sighed. Do I have to say it clearly? Chin, you can't sleep alone without me. I widened my eyes as if hearing something shocking. I can't sleep without you. Ever since I woke up from amnesia, I felt that Sue and I should be a pair of resentful lovers. I love her, but she is annoyed by me. But why does her tone now make it seem like we are a loving couple just prone to arguing? Sue still wanted to say something, but I directly pulled her up and pushed her to the door. Sue, I've already decided to divorce you. I can't live like this for even one more day. Chapter 12. After kicking Sue out the door, I started arranging my rented apartment. I learned almost everything I needed to know about the company. But keeping up was a struggle, so I needed to spend a lot of time on it. In the evening, I wanted to order some takeout, so I scrolled through my WeChat moments. A photo posted by Chungyang caught my eye. It was a picture of him and Sue together, but it was very subtle, only showing Sue's profile. Her profile was so beautiful that even just a half shadow of it was instantly recognizable. Chungyang also posted a vaguely suggestive message. How great would it be if we hadn't just passed each other by? Would I be the man by your side? But luckily, it's not too late. We have time to correct everything. I sneered. Wasn't he implying that Sue was with me without love and would eventually divorce me to be with him? I gave it a like, commented 99 below, and then deleted him directly. I also found Sue's number and deleted and blocked all her contact information. The next day, I went to work, and Sue was already waiting for me downstairs with a dark face. When she saw me, she strode over. You blocked me. Sorry. I admitted my mistake directly. I shouldn't have blocked you. Sue's expression softened a little, and I said, oh, I forgot. We're not divorced yet. Are you here to have me sign the divorce agreement? I happen to be taking time off, so I have the time. After we sign it, we can go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and get our divorce certificates. Sue's face instantly turned terrifyingly dark.